I'm Leanna. Welcome to or back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a journal flip through. I have 5 here. These are just 2 of them. This is my first one and this is my most recent one. I've been journaling since February of 2017, yes. And journaling was like the first thing that I did consecutively and often that I didn't have to finish. Like I had no obligations to keep doing and that I did on my own. Like it was just a thing that I did, you know? So it's really special to me and I've continued to do it for, over a year now. And so I want to share that. So, just before we get in, I'm a little sunburned. I don't know if you can tell or not. Also, my nails are painted a color called Pool Party. And they're like biohazard orange. Not that that's important, I just thought you should know. Alright, journal 1. On the front we have this little drawing of a delta, which is like the Greek symbol for change, and then on the back we have beauty comes from strange places. I actually got this from another YouTuber like a year something ago. I don't remember who, but shout out to her for coming up with this little idea. Moving on, we have the first page, and it says, "To hate is an easy, lazy thing, but to love takes strength everyone has, but not all are willing to practice." I kind of wanted to set that tone for the journal, I guess, and it's from Milk and Honey, because, what else would it be from? Next, we have this first little cohesive spread thing that I did. We have this cute little drawing that says, "Bloom where you are planted," and then we have these 2 pictures that were taken with me playing guitar and ukulele in like a nature background, and I thought that went really well together, and then I wrote a little thing about what I was going through. So I was published in my school's literary journal my freshman year, and I cut out this little poem that I really loved in it from someone else, and it says, "The roots are reaching from their tangled labyrinth in search of something." And I don't know why, but that just really spoke to me, and I was like, wow, how poetic is that? On the other side, we have this little doodle of like lyrics from "I Knew You Once" from Dodie Clark. Very cute, very cute. Okay, and then we have this page. It says XOXO. I don't remember. I think I saw something like this online, and then I like recreated it with a bunch of like kisses. Then we have these first like drawings that I did with like the little mountains and the rose, and I was very proud of that when I did it. The quotes say, "You should not have to rip yourself into pieces to keep others whole, and you will not heal by going back to what hurt you." And that one, that very emo quote, was about unrequited love that I was going through at that time. So that's like another tone for the journal. If you want reminders that you're beautiful, I would suggest making this little compliment page. I don't know if you can see it, but it was compliments for March, and I didn't finish it, but I should have. And it just has little compliments that people give you, and you write down so you can be reminded that you're beautiful and people love you. And I also would suggest doing this, which is a month in texts, and it's like writing down your favorite text messages from the month. I loved it. Again, didn't finish it, but I should have. As I said before, I was going through some unrequited love issues at this point. I did this little quote thing. I don't think I found it somewhere. I think I came up with it, but if I did, just like yell at me or something. It says, "Listen, silence is just as important as sound," which is like, don't just listen to what he says when he says it, also listen to what he doesn't say. Then we have this little drawing, cute little doodle thing that says, "Everything was beautiful and nothing hurt." That's a quote from like Tumblr or something, so it doesn't really apply to like what I was going through, but I loved it. Oh, okay. So if you guys are like really dramatic like me and you like poetry and stuff like that, I would suggest looking up like slam poems because they're really dramatic and like about really important topics. And so I was watching a lot of slam poetry at this time, and so I made a little page about things I would include if I were to write a slam poem about myself. So I'll give you an example. "Sometimes the only thing I wish for is to want and be wanted in return." Here we are, back again at that unrequited love. "I want to dance with you, and I'm willing to lose myself in all the lousiest parts of you as long as I never get them back." Finally, this isn't the end of this chapter in my life, but it is the end of this journal, because I wanted to close the chapter. And so I wrote at the very end of the journal about what had happened and what I wanted, which was, my new philosophy is to back off. I need to stop being so quick to trust and stop being so clingy. Being angry is not the answer. Ask, does he love you back? If he doesn't love you back in the same way, let him go. Distance yourself. There will be others. Remind yourself that things will be okay. Flowers will bloom again. The sun will rise. You're going to be fine. Colors will be vibrant. Things will return to how they were when you were a kid. You just have to find the right people, the right events, and the right environment. You need to remind yourself that unrequited love is not the end of the world. Wow, Leanna, that was really deep. This is the front page of the second journal. It's also a moleskin, I believe. I don't know, I'm not going to check myself on that. But the front thing just says change, like the other one. And it has this little, like, paper thing that I put down. And then on the back, I got really, really obsessed for a short period of time with this musical called Dear Evan Hansen, because I thought it made an important commentary. And so the whole back is filled with lyrics and quotes from Dear Evan Hansen. And the one in gold is You Will Be Found, which is also that little box right there. That's what it says in that right there. First page, we have this quote. This poem is also from Milk and Honey, I think, and it says, I do not want to have you to fill the empty parts of me. I want to be so full on my own. I want to be so complete I could light a whole city, and then I want to have you, because the two of us combined could set it on fire. So, as I mentioned before, I was published in my school's literary journal. This is the poem that I say it's a poem, but I really don't know what it would be called because I feel like it's too long to be a poem. But if you want to hear me read this, I will read it at the end. Also, disclaimer, there's a lot more poetry that I wrote from like here on out. To start off this journal, I just did a little drawing. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, you can now. It just has a Lumineers quote and a little flower bundle, and it says, lovely girl, won't you stay? Won't you stay? Stay with me. I read a poetry book called I Wrote This For You, and I really liked a poem from it that was called The Lack of Postcards. And this is what the little journal thing looks like. I know you're not here. I can see it in your eyes when we talk. But wherever you are, come back soon. Oh, and then we have this. Like I talked about, this little quote up here that says you will be found. This is just another drawing that says you will be found. Okay, so we have a poem. Okay, so I wrote this poem because my friend was going through a really hard time with a boy. Because what else would you have trouble with? So I wrote her this little poem about it. It says, your pain is pretty. Everything about you is pretty, but you cannot see what I see. You have sunflowers blooming in your soul, and you have convinced yourself that no one will ever be tender enough to water them. But you are so full of light. Your mind knows no boundaries, and you will go where love is needed and spread kindness like the gospel. Your heart aches, but it won't forever. You have not tasted the sweetest person you will meet. Their life will be spent searching for someone like you, but someone will not compare. Gentleness is never wrong. Do not let their mistakes make you bitter. Again, I'm just so deep. This is like the first very intricate spread that I ever did. And I'm going to tell a little story about it. So I went on a trip. I don't remember when. I don't know where. My dad like cut out these little hearts from like paint swatches. And he posted them like all over my room. There was like a couple hundred of them. And I was like, oh, it was very sweet. I enjoyed it a lot. And my grandfather came over one day, and I was telling him about how I was going to take it down, and he asked if one of them could be, like, his heart that, like, I kept, which is very sweet now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, so I did. I kept it. I put it in this little journal, and then I just added some stuff around it, mostly 1975 stuff. This is my 1975 little ticket that I got whenever I went and saw them, and in 2016. Whoa, that seems like such a long time ago. We have this. And this is, whoa, another poem I wrote. Her beauty made her like the sun, hard to look at because of her light, but easy to love because of her warmth. That was about me. Really quick to just like, there's more pages in here, but I don't want to talk about them. To end this journal, I read a book called I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. Yeah, Jandy Nelson. And it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And so I put these like little quotes from I'll Give You the Sun. I'm going to read you just one of them that's on this page. And says, "He reaches for my hands, takes them in his, our eyes meet and hold, and the world starts to fall away. Time does. Years roll up like rugs until everything that's happened unhappens, and for a moment it's us again, more one than two." How sweet is that? Moving forward, half the stuff I've talked about is from Dear Evan Hansen, but I have the quote, "You will be found," on my third one. My first page on this journal just has this little cardstock cutout that says proud that I wrote. At this point, I just really wanted people to be proud of me. And I wanted them to love me for who I was and everything that came with me. I was going through a hard time, and so I wanted people to be proud of me. And that's why I wrote that. We just have this cute little spread that says focus on the good and go. Fair warning, before we continue, some of the stuff that I'm about to show you is just going to be show and tell, because I printed out a lot of pictures to put in my journal because I wanted to make it more aesthetic. You'll be able to see some of the pictures, but there's nothing like that you need to know about, if that makes sense, on that page. So the first one is this, and it just has these cute little pictures on it and a little poem that I wrote, and it says, "Your roots are planted in places you can't pronounce. You are all you need. You are somehow a missing piece in any way and anywhere you go. You are your own. You long to be known and nowhere. You are in your own home." So the next one I really started liking the color yellow, and I always hated the color yellow. Whatever. So I'm going to show you that little page. Here it is. How cute. It was on a Tuesday. Again, just showing you some pictures. And again, showing you more pictures. Whoa, more pictures. Also, this little card down here says, "Perhaps this is the moment for which you've been created," which is also a Bible verse. And then we have this. How very cute. More pictures. Wow. And whoa, would you look at that? More pictures. And then I had a really good day on June 27th. Me and my friends went to Cummins Falls, which is a destination in Tennessee. It has like a waterfall. I just wrote a little bit about it, and I was like, "You make me happy when skies are gray." And we went to this little sunflower patch, and we bought little sunflowers. It was so cute. And it was like club going up on a Tuesday, you know? And then we have this, it's just lyrics, and it's, "You are my peach, you are my plum, you are my earth, you are my sun. I love your fingers, I love your toes, the back of your head, and the tip of your nose. You're the reason I'm smiling when there's nothing to smile about." This page. I love this page so much. And then, here's this page. More pictures. I have another poem that I wrote. "The sun and the clouds are interwoven seamlessly. The cloud and the sun lock in to become one whole entity, a cohesive being rather than separate parts. The same way the colors of day and the dark of night intertwine, you and I will melt and mold together to mimic the sun and the clouds, night and day, horizon and sky, until we are so the same, everything knows us as you and I rather than you and I." Whoa. Now we have this. Also, like I said, Cummins Falls. That's a picture of us while we were there. Adorable. I loved it. And I just did a little spread. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, this is the last thing I'm going to show you from this journal. It was about me seeing said unrequited love mentioned from first two journals. Again, for the first time in like a couple of months. Like, I hadn't seen him, and then I did. And we said nothing to each other. So, that's what this poem is about. "Today I saw you, for the first time in a long time. and I didn't even stop to say hello. I feel a pang of guilt in my chest, shortly followed by an ache that I had almost forgotten about. For I didn't even realize I missed you until it was clear that you didn't miss me. After all the words we had shared, I couldn't even find one to say to you now. So, we're going to end that journal on a depressing note and keep going. Okay, so this journal, it's just got a lot of stuff going on, you know? Just a lot of stuff. The first thing, the thing in the middle, that's what it started as, was not supposed to have any of this other stuff on it, says something big. And if you know the song Something Big by Shawn Mendes, that's what it was about. I just kind of felt like something was about to happen. So I was like, this is about something big. Something big's going to happen, and it's going to be awesome. And then I went to a John Bellion concert, and Black Keys is who opened for him, and he was like handing out stickers at the beginning. And so I copped a sticker, and I put it on my journal. Also, I went and biked the Virginia Creeper Trail, which there's a spread in this, I believe. I'll show you. But while we were in Virginia, at the hotel that we were staying at, there was like a Bigfoot convention going on. Because, you know, that's the kind of thing that happens to me. Obviously, I had to buy a sticker that says Official Bigfoot Response Vehicle. Why? I don't know. Should I have paid $5 for this sticker? Absolutely not. But did I? Yeah. And it also says it is coming at the top, and we're gonna save the world. First page. It says, kindness is never wrong. Keep on keeping on. Which, you know, we all just need to be a little kinder to each other. So that's what I wrote about. Okay, next. I see a lot of stuff on Visco where it's like people journal and then they put it on there and it's like these cute little like bucket lists. And so I'd been journaling for like a long time. I don't even want to do the math in my head right now. For a while. Since February, it's September. I think that's 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. Okay, that wasn't that hard. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm not popular on Visco. I'm not popular at my school. But I just really want to see how this does. Right, just how it does. So I created a fall bucket list that was supposed to be a joke. In my head it was, and I was like, there's absolutely no way. And it has this little fall bucket list. I do think it's cute. I just don't think that it's like wild, but they did. So, like I said, I read a poetry book called I Wrote This For You, and I'm pretty sure that that's what this is from. And it's called The Forgotten Feeling, and it says, I know there was something before you, I just can't remember what it was. Cute. Okay, so we had to read a book at school called A Farewell to Arms. It was a garbage book, but I took one thing from it, which was this quote. And it says, I know that night is not the same as day, that all things are different, that the things of night cannot be explained in the day, because they do not exist. And the night can be a dreadful time for lonely people once their loneliness has started. Whenever I went to Virginia, that's this. My family made us wear these things, like these like ribbons that are like for gifts on some part of our body, so in case we got lost, we knew that we were together. Anyway, that was dumb. This one is a really boring poem, but I wrote it, so I'm going to share it. And it says, this was more about me wanting somebody to think this about me. It didn't happen, so that was stupid. Cut that out. Again, I was going through a little thing, and so I wrote a poem about a girl that goes to my school. And it says, the girl with the red hair does not question whether or not she is pretty. The girl with the red hair knows. The girl with the red hair does not know longing for someone. She has everyone at her fingertips and on their knees. The girl with the red hair does not stare at herself in the mirror and wonder why she couldn't be like the girl with the red hair, because she doesn't even think about how lucky she is to be the girl with the red hair. The girl with the red hair gets invited to every party and everyone wants her there because, after all, she is the girl with the red hair. I, however, am not the girl with the red hair. I'm the girl with the brown hair, and I blend in the worst kind of way. The girl with the red hair stands out, and I would give anything to be like the girl with the red hair. Moving on, we won't talk about that. Okay, so I was in a theater production of The Little Mermaid in my hometown, and our costume designers, they're so cute, specifically one of them, made us like CDs and gave us little letters. Yeah, so it's very cute. And so then in here I like kept the letter, so I'm keeping it in there. It's very cute. Also, these are my tights from the show. I cut them up because I hated them, but I wanted to keep a little bit of them around, you know? And then I put this in here. I did this little drawing thing that says the Little Mermaid and information about the show or whatever. And so in the show there's like characters called the frogs. And so for all of the Mer sisters, which is what I was a Tina. They wrote us like notes and like signed it and said something that they liked about us, and it says, "You are an amazing singer from the frogs." I was straight up touched. So moving on. This spread says, "Are you gonna be my love? Are you gonna be mine?" Which is an Oh Wonder quote, and that's like, it used to be one of my favorite bands like freshman year. And I kept all the roses that I had gotten from the Little Mermaid, and I pressed them all in here with like glue, like straight Elmer's glue. We have the last little page that I'm going to share with you, and it really has like nothing behind it, but it was Christmas, and for Christmas my friend, her name is Sydney, wrote me a little letter. So I kept her little aesthetic drawing that she did on the envelope as well. Hold on, I don't understand how paper works apparently. That's what it looks like. How adorable is that? And then I kept my friend Tori's little tag that she put on her gift to me. Okay. Moving on. Next journal. Number 5. Current journal that I'm on right now. Really excited. Let's go. I know you haven't seen a lot of this in my previous journals, but I really love Jody Clark. And so one of my favorite quotes from one of her songs called "There Will Be a Day When You Can Say You're Okay and Mean It." And I really loved that, and I thought it was very cute. So that was, oh, I forgot to show it to you, I think. So that was the first page that I did on my new journal. I started this in January, this journal, by the way, and it's currently May, about to be the end of May. I'm starting a new journal this summer. So I wrote this little thing. I got a Polaroid for Christmas, and I messed it up, like I do everything. Wow, that was really self-depreciating. The little rollers that like help the film come out, like they got stuck, probably from something I did. I don't actually know, but they got stuck, so it created this like dragging up effect. But I still thought it was like really aesthetic, so I kept it. And then I wrote about January and 2018 and how I was really excited. So, and then on this next page, there's a little quote with little flower stickers that says, "Where flowers bloom, so does hope." So, another Jody Clark thing. I started with like these little doodle things that like, they're okay. They're not very good. Not like, I'm not an artist, but I like them. I think they're cute. And it says, "Thousands and thousands of eyes just like mine, aching to find who they are." And that's another Jody Clark quote. Okay. And then, this is more of show and tell too. I'd been listening to the CD that one of our costume designers, Sarah, like I said earlier, gave us. And the song "Boys" by Charlie XCX. Is that what it is? I think it is. Anyway, Charlie XCX that's what one of them is from, and then the other one I copied from a different journalist. But I changed the quote. And so, there that is.
I was busy thinking about boys.
So I did another little not poetry. Did another spread, and it says, "I know it when I see it," and recovery and lifetime, and a picture of me, and whatever. That was like the first time that I had used like magazine cutouts, and I really liked it. Oh, another little drawing thing is this. And then I have a poem over here. So, "I swallow my tongue and allow my voice to be ripped out by someone who barely realizes it's there. You tell me to stop fighting back when all I am doing is defending myself. This is the culture that leads women to repression, the culture that stops victims from coming forward, the culture that makes women believe their silence is the best thing they can offer." I'm pretty sure I was like in an argument with somebody, and that's what I wrote. Next. Okay, so I want it to be really aesthetic, and so I made this favorites playlist, which is like the ultimate playlist for me. And so it's like for when you need to pick me up and for when you need to cry. I also did a little page next to it that was my favorites, and it has my favorite books and my favorite memories on them. I did a gig with my friends and then it's like a band now, and we're called the Counterparts, and we played a gig at a local bar. Okay, I found out that I was getting to go to a Harry Styles concert in June, which I feel like I've mentioned before. I think I have. Anyway, but I'm going in June, and so I did this little post thing. This isn't very important, like this page, but it took me forever, so I want to show it to you. It's Stockholm Syndrome, like by One Direction or like Harry Styles, whichever one you know it by, with all the lyrics written around it. And I did this during class, so I shouldn't have done that, but I did. I love it, and I think it's very aesthetically pleasing. I made a summer bucket list, like the fall bucket list I mentioned earlier, but this one was like actually for real and for me. There's 32 items on this list, and I have done currently 8 of them. So anyway, and then me and my friends started this Pinterest board of like cool best friend, this is so embarrassing, but we started this Pinterest board with like cool best friend pictures to take, like that we could all take together over summer. Anyway, so that's what that is, next to it. Moving on. Okay, so this is what my first video was about. It was like the 5 Sauce Youngblood tour, and about me getting to meet 5 Sauce and winning tickets to their show in September. And so I made this before I realized that I won tickets, but I'm in love. So these were from new songs that had come out. So Youngblood, obviously, and it says, "You used to call me baby, now you're calling me by name." And then Lie to Me. Lie to Me is such a bop from that album, and I loved it live. Anyway, oh, would you look at that, another 5 Sauce quote from the song Invisible. Okay, and this is from the day that I got to meet 5 Sauce. Adorable. We have this, again, from day of. I had a checklist that I was keeping, so I made sure to bring everything with me. And then this is a picture of my checkout pass from school, and then a little Polaroid that I took with my friend outside the building, where we're holding up our little 5 Sauce passes. Okay, another thing that got popular on Bisco.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Very cute. I really enjoyed making that. So then we have this little spread. Again, it was from me loving the song Youngblood by 5 Seconds of Summer. So I have this little picture like that I thought went with the Youngblood and the rose and whatever, and this is like the 1975. I read a book recently, which is an odd statement. I never read books anymore. Like, I used to love reading books, but I never read books anymore just like for fun, and I did for like the first time in a year. And it was a book called Sometimes We Tell the Truth, and I picked out a quote from that book that I really like, which was, "I rarely spoke with this boy, but I wondered about him, wondered about kissing him, and wondered if he wondered about me too." That's what that looks like. And then we have this little page that says, "I am filled with endless wonder." And then, oh, so excited. I get to go to a Charlie Puth concert in Nashville with my friends in August. So I did this little journal page yesterday, and this is the end of this journal for now. And it says, "Maybe I should have noticed that you were just half in love," which is from a Charlie Puth song. And yeah. This one, by the way, because I'm stupid, says "Girl Almighty" on the front and has these little symbols, which this one, Delta, obviously, throwing it back to like my first 2 journals, changed. And then we have this, which means, to me, it's like a circle, so it's like what goes around comes around, which is like karma. So it's like, be nice to people and the world will be nice to you. And then finally, I'm a Gemini, so I like the little Roman numeral 2 little symbol. Okay, we out. As promised, here is the poem that I was talking about before, that I got published in the literary journal for. Looks like that. I've lived my life sleepwalking. I tried to remember being awake and him, and I'm not sure if I want to. Remembering felt awkward to me. Remembering felt as uncomfortable as his name in my mouth. Remembering was painful, which is exactly why I avoided it at all costs. I avoided remembering because until I met you, I spent my life after him, half asleep, wandering aimlessly, aware but not caring enough to get attached or involved, because being attached and being involved meant I could get hurt. But your specialty was being attached and involved. You saw the beauty behind the nothingness. You saw the beauty in simplicity. You saw the beauty in me, and I had not felt beautiful in a long time. And you taught me about loving the sunsets and dandelions, the horizon and stars, the flowers and grass, my body, my being, and my mind. And for a while I felt as if I were truly awake for the first time in my entirety. But my body and my being and my mind brought me back to being half asleep, and I'm not quite sure if you realize that me being unconsciously pulled back here was not your fault. But your heart whispered, called, screamed for me to wake up, and for me to remember the greenness of the grass and the blueness of the sky. But the color has drained, and I do not see it the way I used to, the way you did. Whispered, called, screamed for me to wake up, and for me to remember the skyline. Whispered, called, screamed for me to wake up, and for me to remember the sunsets. Whispered, called, screamed for me to wake up, and for me to remember the horizon. And I tried to remember, and I tried to confront, and I tried to pretend like I did not feel my skin was too tight to breathe comfortably. I tried, and I tried again for you. But I feel our story is coming to a close, and I know it's my fault. I can't help but feel the distance between us, and I wish for nothing more than to close the gap. So I'll whisper, call, and scream back, I'm sorry. That was emo. Okay. If you watched that all the way through, congrats to you. I'm so proud. I hope that you liked it and that you found out something about me that you didn't know before. Yeah, thank you for listening and for watching, and I'll see you next time.